What up, guys? Somebody in the stream requested that we make a ball hit tier list, so we're gonna make a ball hit tier list. So I hope y'all enjoy. And I think the best ball angle hit, is the best ball angle hit is. No, but there's really no best, but I think the one that is the one that you should always do a neutral is like this shit is S tier. This thing is 2D. Ball hit on 2D is just so good. Like the ball angle, it goes up, it anti-airs really well. You can get combo from it. And it's just a very strong. It's like if you're not using it, it's like you have to use it. It's like back in the day, Venom close slash actually used to go straight up on the ball. Like it used to make the ball hit go straight up, but it doesn't do that anymore. So 2D, like at the angle it goes out, like we can accept it. It's very strong and much needed. And like 2D high, like mid crushes a lot of stuff too, so it works as it already works as its own. It already works as an anti-air. So if it does end up missing the ball, you don't really end up like hurting that often, even if you do miss if the ball ends up missing them. So I think that's cool. And then like the worst ball hit is like it only goes from S to A really, cause like every ball hit is pretty good. Like before that, like when he first came out, like some were very bad, but now all of them are like they're all. I think the most I think 6K is probably like, if not the worst one, just only because like, and it's still good, but it's only because it's like you have to be at a very specific range of the corner to like really get any use out of it. And then of course you could be like +5 if you do a ball hit on their wake up using 6K. Like, okay, that's cool, but it's like it's not DP safe. like whatever. So I think 6K is like, it's like whatever. But I mean, it still has its uses if you know where you can use it. This is alright. It's alright. This is alright. But it's not bad. Like, you're gonna have to use it. This is higher. This is actually higher. Second best actually is the one I made a video on, which is 6H. 6H is the future of Venom. Once I started using this move, I then realized everything that I was missing with this character. Everything that I was missing was revolving around not using 6H. And the only reason I wasn't using 6H as often is because like it's just like, A, I'm not used to playing Venom like that in any game. B, like 6H is like very scary if you whip it. But honestly, this move is like really good if you can get them to block it at anywhere. And like having that added with like delayed ball hit, like that shit is just like, bro, just like I don't even be knowing how plus I'm gonna be sometimes, just cause like, so it's like a very, and it's like if they get hit by it, it's like they're gonna get hurt. Like 6H, because 6H was so much quicker in like the older games, like that's why I was just like not using it as much. But like this 6H is like very good. Like it hits really high. It's fairly high, which it needs to, because like I needed to hit S so I need to hit S ball so I can cancel. So I think, and then the 6H, like you can like get it to like hit a ball late, And then the thing is, like, it creates like a hurt box. It creates a hitbox behind him too. So like, if a ball is like behind him, the 6H will still hit. So it's like you can kind of use it to like get a ball to hit and come out like mad late and still pressure people. So it's like one of the best moves, really. I mean, I made a video on it, so y'all can see like the examples. I think yeah, 6H is definitely, and I just now started using it. Like 6H is so fucking good. Dude, I'm telling you, like if your Venom is struggling, like you're not using 6H enough. That's like probably what it is, honestly. It's not a very convenient move to use, but once you get the hang of using it, it's like he becomes so much stronger. Like these are not everything that's not a ball hit. We just gonna put in like B, right? This is like probably honestly this is probably close. Probably close slash is probably the worst. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Probably close slash, probably the worst. Because like it goes at an upward angle. I notice my cursor is not even showing for any of this. It goes at an upward angle, and like honestly, it's not even the upward angle doesn't even really catch jumping, so it's not even that great. So I think close slash probably like the worst. It's probably like the worst one. And like I said, these are all decent, but it's like in the grand scheme, it's probably the worst. Like worst utility by far. And it's like even when you get it to hit, like even if you were to get the ball to hit on the close slash, like it's so hard to like it can be hard to like get the follow up just because of like the gravity in this game and Venom combos at times. They're about like knowing where the ball is gonna end up based on your spacing. Of course, you just gotta know like if you do S, this is gonna go down lower at a slower pace. If you do H, you give them full screen options, only using H Carcass. So I think this clearly has the edge. However, it's not as safe because you don't have a ball to like really kind of come underneath you once you release it, because it just moves so fast. But again, like I said, it does open up those full screen options from the air, which is like the only way that he can really get full screen options when he's in the air. So it's gonna have to be up there. Honestly, these are up here too, because it's like you kind of have to know. You kind of have to know, like where to like you can not. There's gonna be matchups, of course, where you have to like stay grounded, but you need to get a ball angle that goes up forward or down forward, right? And it's like you're gonna have to know how to do that with using Stinger. So honestly, like this is another important part of his kit that like you have to know how to use. Like he's not functional without it. But it's like it has so much recovery. You're better off just like either just A6P in the ball at a time where it would matter, or like, or just doing like a charged H Carcass. Because a charged H Carcass is gonna hit. It's gonna potentially hit jump-ins, and if you already have like a P-ball set on the H Carcass, like you have a ball that goes up like this, and then a ball that goes like really far forward, like full screen far forward. So this is like one of the best ways to like hit a ball. So like, well, actually, no, I lied. Everything I just said applies to S, charged S Carcass Raid, but H can still be just as effective. It's just gonna hit at different angles, going more upward. So honestly, like, these two like very strong, but at the same time, like, you know, if you're like full screen far away using S Carcass and you're hitting a ball, you might like get, let's say for against Bedman, like you're not gonna have enough time for that ball to travel and hit him before his projectile hits you. So in those cases, like, you're gonna have to learn how to set up a ball, get a ball out any way you can, and then use your stinger to deal with them at certain ranges. So like, that's just one example for, so that's one example. Like, but in the long run, like, the Carcass can be better angles to establish pressure and establish whatever you want to get going. So that's why I place it higher. But like, just want to mention that. Honestly, forward slash hit is just loaded. This is like a much needed, like, you're gonna have to use it. So okay, let's try this, right? Yeah, because these, I mean, honestly, these are good. This is the right place on it. Forward slash. Okay, so I'm gonna put forward slash like here, because here's the thing. Now, and this is not like a normal tier list. This is a ball hit tier list. So it's very good. It's very good. I think it's very necessary. It's one of those. It's definitely one of those ones you gotta like master when to like not cancel on the ball hit and just know when to let the ball ride. And like, that's one of the hardest things about far slash, I think, for like the common Venom player. It's like just the idea of like, okay, when do I cancel in this thing, or when do I not, and just let the ball ride and let the ball ride. And you just figure that out the more you play, or like, or how you can like with far slash when you're just poking and then they jump over your far slash. And then, just because far slash recovery is really good, you can just mash 6p on them once you whiff the far slash they jumped over. So it's a really good button. It's a really good button, and like especially like if it hits a ball. Like if it hits a ball, it's like pretty good. Because then you can just like, you know, if you're far away, you can go in the ball set and be pretty safe. Or you can go in the H Carcass cancel, which can be safe. See, like another thing people aren't doing is like, you know, you can use like forward slash cancel in the Carcass Raid and like be safe and like start combos like that. So it's like, you do that even off of a ball hit, now you have 2 balls out. And like, you can get a lot of stuff started. So forward slash really is like, honestly, it's like the gatekeeper to like what makes the Venom player. It's like a gatekeeper to like, I would say like this move you kind of have to know how to use forward slash to like make Venom work. But at the same time, it's also like one of his best ways to hit the ball. So I would put it here. And I think like if Venoms like don't know how to forward slash with and without the ball, it's like this character just becomes ultimately harder. But at the same time, like, if you can master it, if you can get it, it's like you can see what makes him so good. Like, once you master Far Slash, it's like you get to just, you literally just get to Far Slash loop people again and again. Like, for example, you fight Go Lewis, you can just like hit the ball, Far Slash, hit the ball, Far Slash, hit the ball, Far Slash. And there's not really much he can do, like, at certain spaces. There's nothing he can do unless he has meter. So it's like, just knowing like how you can use that with the ball hit is like, it becomes a very impressive move. But in the same light, when used incorrectly, can get him killed very easily. I think that's how you should make any like high value move. You should like make it like have some like very good benefits and just like not be something you can abuse. Like, I can't figure out the right wording for that, what I'm trying to say there, but not exactly what I'm trying to say. I think it has a pretty decent. I think it has a really good balancing, and I don't think they need to do anything to it. Now, it would be nice to have faster slash buttons and far slash buttons in general, but like 2S and far slash. Well, yeah, 5K, like, I think 5K is just, it's an okay. It's definitely necessary for Oki. Because the real Oki is, well, I mean, made a video on like what's real Oki and what's fake Oki, and like basically HS Carcass 5K, that's real Oki. And honestly, that's, I mean, like it's like kind of your go-to for Oki as a ball hit. So I mean, it's like the basic bread and butter. It's definitely needed. I don't think you're really gonna be trying to use it like super often in neutral. But like, it's there to work when you need time to think, right? Just like jump D. Just like jump D and just like 2-8, right? Like, it's still very good. Like, it's your go-to. It's your bread and butter, sure. But it's like, you're gonna use it in those scenarios where like it's either just for that one function or you're just needing time to think. But it's not really like, when you need time to think, you should be trying to use P-ball hit. And P-ball hit, this is always gonna be like one of Venom's strongest hits on a ball in every game. P-ball hit is always like, it's always like the safest hit. It's always the safest way. Yeah, it's always like it's always like the safest way to get a ball out. And the thing is like, okay, the ball didn't hit them. Okay, well, it's right in front of you again, so you can use it again. So it's very solid, and it's like that ball is very active, and you're still in front of it. So it's very scary for the opponent. Very good at starting pressure. It can be a combo starter. So I think P-ball set is like P-ball set. I mean, P hit. I mean, 5P hit is like one of the best ways to get the opponent to like make an act, like to do an action or to do something. Because a lot of people like they see that and they think like, okay, he's stingered, but really you might have just did P-ball hit and now they jump. You know, a lot of that can happen. and now you still like got the ball in front of you, so you can like use the ball to anti-air them, or so it's a really, you know, definitely gotta get the dance with it. Like I think last note on P hit is definitely Venom's like it's like Venom's dance. It's definitely his like his little dance move. 5H is the only way to get the ball to go full screen, but it doesn't like hit lower angles. It doesn't hit like lower angles. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't hit like mid crushing attacks, right? Like stun dipper. But it goes. It makes balls go like full screen fairly well. Similar to Force Slash. And like the hit stun created on the balls, so the ball flinging at them is, it's like a stinger. I don't think it's bad. This move, you kind of really only like, you use it to like, if you need to get the ball to go out faster, or like, but again, like this is just something you could have did with Far Slash or even S Stinger. So this is one of those moves that you kind of use like when you either A, don't have charge, or you just need to like close the gap fairly quickly and you can't like think of anything else. But like 5H is not bad. It's not bad. Now 2K, this shit is god. I ain't gonna lie. 2K going up like here. Shit is like right here. Now 2K is slightly better than 5P hit, because it does potentially hit mid crushing attacks, and it can be a combo starter at the angle that it goes at, and the angle that it goes at goes upward. Like that's like such a great, it's just all great, and it moves forward and far away enough to where it's like you don't have to cancel anything at times when you get the ball hit. So it's like, man, this one it's good, man. Like good. Honestly, my preferred starter a lot, honestly, over 2P ball hit. Which 2P ball hit we're gonna have to we're not gonna sleep on. We're not gonna sleep on it because 2P ball hit does cover mid crushing attack. But yeah, I would say like, and the thing is like, if you whiff the 2P ball hit, you still have enough time to end. Usually you do have enough time to 6P. So honestly, it can be almost fairly stronger than doing, almost certainly always stronger than doing just raw 5P ball hit. Now we get 2S. 2S, same thing pretty much, sort of. Same pretty much idea. 2S covering low ground while still being in like an angle where you can like get something off, like a speed where you can get something off. And it's like, if you whiff 2S, like this move actually like Venom goes really pretty low to the ground, and he can like, it can stop a lot of stuff. Like it actually can stuff a lot of stuff in itself, like the button. And like the ball angle, the ball speed that it goes at is really good. Like you can actually like follow up on it fairly well. So I want to like it's up here. It's definitely up there. It definitely changes a lot. It helps him a lot of matchups. The ball hit, like it's like for example against Zato, like that shit is really good. And like he can 2S cancel the ball hit, and like 2S in itself is already like a fairly long button. So he's canceling the 2S, and then he can just go into a ball hit and go into the ball hit again, and then go into another 2S. So it's a really strong, very strong like button actually. It's a very strong one. I mean, like, okay, it's not something that like you can just do anywhere, but once you know where you can use it, you can abuse it. So I think it should be high. It should be higher than some 5 5D ball hit is like whatever. Like 5D ball hit is whatever because so it covers a good it does cover a good anti-air angle, but keep in mind like you're already in so much recovery from the 5D, so it's like you don't even have a lot of time to really dash up and go behind the ball hits if they were to get hit by that ball in the air. Okay, well what about 5D ball hit at close range for combo? Well, that's only works at very specific range and like only with certain specific setups that a lot of people already are looking for now. So like, yeah, you might need to have a ball to cover that specific height, and yeah, you might need to use 5D because that's the only specific height, or maybe like you just need something quick because like your hands are just so like you're doing so many actions per minute that you kind of just need to use 5D to like go have a ball to cover that certain angle just because like you can't, you just have so much going on. That can happen. Things like that can happen. So it's just kind of like again one of those moves that you just kind of use when you should have used something else. But it's still better than like it's still more still has more versatility than the moves in B. And then 6P obviously like this move is like number one fuck this shit is man, this shit's like I can't even lie to you, bro. This shit it's like keeping Venom. This shit is good. This shit it's like right there, bro. These are just my opinion. And like I still put 2D here at the top because it's like again, you can get so much mileage even if the ball doesn't hit. So it's still my number one because and you can like still use that ball for so many purposes. So it's like and it's at a very good angle. But 6P like the reason I put it up here is because like you can cancel the 6P and the QV, and like even if the ball hit doesn't hit anything, you can still cancel that ball hit in the QV, and that QV may hit something. And even if that QV doesn't hit anything, you just created a ball with QV, so now you have two balls on the screen that will more than likely hit something the next time they're hit. So it's like 6P, you kind of have to be you kind of have to master ball hit with 6P because it's like it's so like it can be very impressive, and it's much needed. Honestly. Like, and then you can combo like, and then 6P ball like backboard hitting off the wall, like catching people out the air. That shit's good. That shit's good. Moving on. Jump H. Jump H is like this one. This one is goated because it's goated because you can jump cancel. Like you can jump cancel off the ball hit. it goes at an angle that's threatening, and you can still use the ball afterwards, so that's good. Any of the normals where you can use the ball again afterwards is always like a plus. Just because of the fact that you can also jump cancel fucking jumpy. But that's jump K. Jump K is like solid. I think jump K is much necessary. Damn, that's a lot of D tier. D tier is just buttons that we can't it's just like doesn't relate to the topic. Like we're doing a Venom ball hit tier list. And honestly, jump K ball hit is needed. It's up there. Cause like this is the one that like places the ball, like it pushes the ball forward and straight the fastest. Like keyword straight, and it's it's the fastest way to get the ball to go forward and straight. I mean, well, it's the fastest straight way. You know what I'm fucking trying to say, goddamn. But if it's the fastest, how do you fucking say that? It's the fastest way that you can keep the ball going in a straight line in the air. So jump K is there for that reason. That's good. You need it, and it's like it helps with a lot of characters, like, you know. So it's like you kind of need to learn how to use it just to force people to make a reaction, just to force people to make a move if they are already like airborne. So like that's really solid. So for that reason. And then the thing is, like, okay, the jump K ball didn't hit. You can still use the jump K ball again. So it's like, jump P, I mean, kind of same thing. Just the ball doesn't go as fast. I mean, the ball moves slower. I mean, unless you're trying to play defensive, it's like whatever. I mean, these are kind of like even. Now jump S. This was pretty good. Honestly, it's not the craziest like ball hit in the world. Bro, Exurb jump S ball hit was like, that shit was just winning turns. I mean, but he also did get like, it was a lot easier to get full combo. But jump S ball hit, I mean, it's very like, I think jump S ball hit is like the most underrated. To me, it's like the most underrated, most underutilized Venom jump. I mean, Venom ball hit. I think this is like, yeah, jump S. Jump S, I say that because you can actually like, so jump S, it actually doesn't end here. It actually like goes all the way out to here, like when he ends his swing. So like, it can actually like, there can be like a ball like right here, and he can hit it, and like, it's just a lifesaver. Like, it's the most versatile. It's one of the most versatile ways to like hit a ball and actually get it to be useful, like when you need it. Like, this is like honestly like top 3. Honestly, it's like it's like it's up there, like. Just because, like, and that's the thing is, like, this will hit the ball that, like, you can't do any, like, all the balls at the top of the screen that you can't do anything with. It's like you're gonna have to use jump pads. And then not only that, but it's like, okay, the four way it's goated, and it's like it's one of the best 4 ways, right? And then not only that, it's like, okay, I can, like, you have so much control of the ball hit with jump pass, because like you can just like air backdash jump pass, and then it's like, okay, now they gotta respect that. Or you could just air backdash and not do anything, and they're respecting the jump pass. Like, it's such a great move. Like, it's, and the angle it comes out on, the way it hits the ball, it's really good. It's really good. And it's easy as hell to use. And it just, like, it just saves you all the time. Like, it's like my #1 way to save my ass. Like, when the ball, like, anytime a ball goes somewhere, like, I miscalculated, I'm like, okay, jump pass. It's like easy. It's just easy, like, easy reconstruction. So yeah, I think you have to, like, understand jump pass before 6 speed. Like this is almost like a tier list of, like, this is almost like a tier list of, like, the ball angles that you kind of have to understand how they hit and function to make this character work.